Hello. Okay. Oh, I got my headphones on. So I am doing one of my regular work and training days. It is laundry day. So I'm like in the world's saddest outfit ever because all the fun stuff has been washed or is being washed, and that's okay. It can't be makeup and beauty every day. But I thought, you know what? I do these really wacky, cool training and business and legal sessions, and they're absolutely impossible to describe. You'd have to see it to understand it. So I thought, well, I was going to go live to share some stuff anyway. So, but I also need to discuss that stuff with my team, which I do while I train. And because you see, my team are inside, like this laptop was customized for me. And I've got, I don't know how many people are in there today, probably a few thousand, I don't know, a few. And because I always get the answers to my questions as I need them, and they always help me move to the next step, which is awesome. So yeah, today we are going to get the ball rolling on some legal stuff, which, I mean, everything is being worked on, but I haven't actually, I guess you would say, pulled the trigger on anything yet, because I don't see any urgency with it. Frankly, at the moment, the whole world is going through a horrible time, and I'm not the only person who is trying to heal. Everybody's trying to heal. So I've been really, as much as possible, I've been trying to work and train and design and build. And like I've been building the entire movie set while I've been actually filming the movie, as well as the training videos, the teaching videos, how to on biology with algae, to anyway, all of that. But my focus is still on healing, because I'm very well aware that my mental health is priority one, because whenever it falls apart, I fall apart. So obviously got to keep it good. So here is, I'm shaking you, sorry. So legally, there are many, many cases, and I didn't really want to pursue any of this for a few months, to be honest with you, but I've been, I guess you could say, I've been forced to respond. And thus our first case begins. And now here on our YouTube channel, you've probably watched all of the backstory videos. There's one that I never shared. It was the final story of what happened in Australia while I was under surveillance, which was quite a significant thing, which involved me saving another person's life. And the police records of the incident, police records that I signed, they were never there when I went looking for them. So anyway, that particular incident sent my team in all the right directions, plus everything else I shared with them to figure out who I am and what is going on. And from that, it sent everyone down quite the rabbit hole, which is absolutely amazing, because truths are being told all around this globe, because people are having the courage now that they know that they are, yes, being watched, but guess what? We have infiltrated the watchers, and they're being watched too. And you know what? There's more good guys out there than bad guys by a long shot. I'm living proof of it. And yeah, there are people blowing whistles all over the place. There are truths being uncovered because people aren't afraid to look where they've known for a long time they needed to look. And that's the other thing I've been focused on is wronging the right, wronging the rights. I don't want to wrong the rights. I want to right the wrongs. But so there are tremendous things happening. I mean, what did you think? I made it clear I was assembling the world's most incredible geniuses and greatest warriors, and we've all been working together. When people actually do what they've always wanted to do, boy, do they do it well. And, you know, some really, really, really hard truths are coming out, but it is time that we be honest about who we are, what we are. Most of what's going on in this world that's crazy right now has nothing to do with the people who are alive in it at the moment. So much of this was put in place long before any of us were born, but it's time to fix it, because all of these cycles just keep not only perpetuating, but they are becoming perpetually worse. So truths are coming out and people are being allowed to heal. It's time to heal. It is time to, whatever that means to you. I mean, for me, it means a whole lot of weird things, you know, dancing with my loved ones who aren't here in the dark under my lights. Whatever happens to be what feels right is what I do. And same thing for you. But so I need to fill in some blanks for people, because I think I've been judged very harshly, and my team they've been frustrated for weeks because I've known a very big truth for weeks. When you infiltrate the FBI and you start helping them out and they give you access to what really happened to you, there's just no way for that ever to be a good thing to see. So it's not easy, but I'm finding the good in it, and it is giving us everything we need to fix what is wrong. I actually am that person. My life tells the story that's going to fix what's wrong. So you've seen from previous videos that Ruby and I were in hiding in Australia, and we were in hiding there for 6 years, 6.5, before we got to Canada. So it was 8 years in hiding before I came public on New Year's Eve, 2020. And look, when I did that, I had no choice. We were in danger, and when you can't hide anymore because the whole world is under an illegal and constitutionally wrong lockdown, can't lock people down. You cannot do that. But anyway, I had no choice but to make a ruckus, because if you are in danger and you can't hide, when hiding's not an option, you make sure that everyone is looking at you and that everyone is listening, because it's our fellow humans who will protect us. And honestly, in my case, it wasn't the ones who should have. So you all know that I had, an abusive husband from an abusive family, and they were in an illegal, here are the facts that I know absolutely that have been proven in court. See, beyond this, here's what's been proven in court. One member of that family went to jail for a crime that he admitted to, okay? So who knows? Which was international drug trafficking. And that is a crime that puts you on a very special list. And it also puts everyone in your life on a very special list with the FBI, and you end up under surveillance forever. So there you go. By marriage, I landed under that. So Anyways, you all know that situation, but it's the part where we had to go into hiding. You know, I was separated finally, and I was dealing with the situation in my way, in a measured and above board and fair way, according to the laws. I was finding out what my rights were, what my obligations were, and I was doing everything according to the steps as I was directed. And then I found out I had a massive tumor in my head. And that, when I say head, it was in my face, maxillofacial tumor. So it was inside my jaw, from my nose back under my eye to my ear and down into my tooth. So that, from the moment I found that out, was priority one, because anyone with any sense knows that health and safety first. You got to be safe and you got to be healthy, because you can't run if you're going to die on the road. You just can't do that. So you don't. But unfortunately, my health condition meant that my mom came from Canada to help. And my mom is someone who tends not to listen when you ask her to please be quiet or please stay out of something. No matter what reasoning you give her, she is going to do what she thinks is right based on no experience. Well, except that I suppose her career makes her an expert, which is why she so somehow, while I was in hospital having a tumor removed from my face, somehow that led to me being accused of trying to kidnap my daughter to Canada. And, you know, I'm an expert at patterns. We have clearly established that I'm a genius and I don't miss things. I seem like I miss things because only a fool shows their cards all the time. You always got to look a little bit confused because otherwise you're a threat. So things out of pattern happened all of a sudden when my mom was there. And of course, when you apply any, outsider into something, it's going to change the patterns, but not certain patterns. Like things that supposedly happened. And so here's the deal. This is not a family affair. When I believed it was a family affair, I kept my mouth shut and I was grateful for the help that I have received. I was grateful for being alive. I was grateful that my little girl is going to now live the wonderful life she should have had all along. I was just so grateful. And I offered forgiveness to everyone. And I mean everyone, even to the people who beat me. Forgiveness. But forgiveness does not mean that you have an invitation to carry on. And you see, my abuser, when I went public, immediately went right back at it. You see, you saw me have what looked like a total nervous breakdown in public on my Facebook page a few months ago when I was triggered by my mom showing up and stealing the bicycle from my garage. But still at that point, I was trying to be as diplomatic as possible, but still keep us safe, because everything I do, when I do it publicly now, I've been completely off the grid, basically, for a decade. Why would I come back on if not to keep us safe, and if not to utilize these tools in a way that is actually going to help us? Because so far, when I have counted on the police, they have harmed me. When I have counted on the law, it has absolutely failed me. When I have counted on our government, they have lied. When I have counted on my mother, she used her power as an agent of the Canadian government to have me imprisoned in Australia. She signed a legal affidavit in her position as retired. Actually, I'm going to pull it up. I've got it here. Where's her affidavit? Now, actually, before I look at that, now going back to my lawsuit, I've been accused of trying to kidnap my daughter, which I'm going to tell you exactly what I thought for 8 years. What I believed, what I knew, was that I was accused of this crime because my mother continually had loud conversations on Skype with her husband back in Canada while she was staying with us, saying that she's bringing us back to Canada, and she would discuss it again and again, and I would plead with her to please first stop having that conversation, because it's not her decision, it's mine, and I'm not in a position to make that decision because I don't even know if I'm dying from what's in my face. 2, you are loud, and you know you are loud, and you know that he shows up constantly. He is, in fact, that's in her affidavit as well, that she was aware that he constantly checks up to listen in, to intimidate, to threaten. So she was aware of this. But so for all those years while we were in hiding, I knew that the reason I was accused of kidnapping was because of my mother making this claim over Skype, her big mouth. So, but I had to forgive that because, hey, I had to borrow the money from her for the lawsuit. And she's the one who went and told my family what's going on. But I don't know what she told them, because I asked them to I begged of her to tell people nothing, because it was made clear that everyone was in danger. She knew that, but, Carmen needs a car. That was her reasoning, to put her family members knowingly in danger, was to raise finances for a used car. Now, if you understood her financial situation, the $6,000 she raised that put them all in danger was a drop in the bucket that she could have provided. I mean, she was paying the legal bills until I finally could pay her back at the end. But here's what I found out. No, not what I found out, what I watched, because I got to see the footage from my home. I got to see the footage from my home when I was in the hospital having a tumor removed from my head. A legal affidavit was signed by my mom claiming that he had done this and done that had really concerned her. And look, I'm going to go into the affidavit shortly, but let's just say that not only did she completely lie in the affidavit, but she made up a lie about what happened while I was in hospital that she knew would be just the right lie to trigger me to never let him near her again. Do you understand? Because she knew it would trigger me because, you know, it did when I was a teenager too. When you've had experience with certain things, you'll never let your child anywhere near it. Well, she knew exactly what lie to tell me to make sure that I would fight with all my might to keep him from ever seeing his child again. So I want to be clear, up until this point, I was allowing him everything under the law because I have never believed that I am above the law. So I've accused no one of anything, all right? A few months ago, I had to protect myself and my daughter by publicly showing myself having a PTSD triggered, terrified meltdown because I needed the world to know that we are in danger and that people need to be looking out for Ruby because Ruby is an autistic child at home with a mom who has just been triggered. And when I'm triggered, I go into warrior mode, which means I may go 12 days without sleep, just walking the grounds because somebody's going to kill us. That's what triggered mode is for me. But I have accused no one of anything. But while I was having the meltdown, I did make a claim that would have been confusing to a lot of people. You see, it relates to my stepdad passing away. And I said, how did he really die? Well, yes, he died of mesothelioma. And it's a man-made disease. And his death has been a lovely payout for my mom, just like my first dad's death in a car accident was a lovely payout for his ex-wife, who he had just separated from. But, you know, when the will's not up to date, so she got her sweet little $1 million from his death, even though she had been an abusive wife. She was horrible to him. Well, lo and behold, my grieving widow mother who spent 16 years abusing her husband. Oh my goodness. But I wasn't referring to that. I was referring to what she did to us. You see, she didn't just try to make him think I was going to kidnap my daughter. She actually threatened him straight out while I was in hospital. We're taking Ruby to Canada and there's nothing you can do about it. So, Elizabeth Louise Davies, who now I'm going to read from her affidavit. So, Director of Provincial Schools Branch, Ministry of Education for the Government of Ontario, Canada, by the way, to those of you who are not Canadian. Now I'm going to minimize this for a second. As a career public servant, you have a duty to you have a duty to be lawful. You have a duty of care. You have responsibilities. You have put yourself up to a certain level where you are judged differently. And now when you take that title and you use that power knowingly and intentionally, that's an even different ball field. And in that role, when you do so legally in a court of law within the Commonwealth, you are acting as an agent of the government you represent. So when she committed perjury and endangered a minor and was involved in the attempted murder of her daughter, she did so as an agent of our Canadian government, because this is how the law of agency works. This is one of the very few laws that is pretty cohesive globally. And the only reason it's cohesive globally is there's been urgency behind making it so, because the whole law is designed to pass the buck. It is designed so that when big companies do bad things, somebody else takes the blame. And in this case, that somebody else happens to be my mother and my daughter's grandmother. But here's where the legal thing is going to be interesting, is I don't know why. I'm going to read this. This is, I have to go to, most of it's lies except for the affirmations. Let's see, number 52 in her signed affidavit. Carmen told me that had repeatedly told her he would kill her if she tried to take Ruby away from him. She seriously believed he would try and would do harm to her and take Ruby if he had the chance. And from what I had observed in the weeks I had been in Australia, I believed her. So in her signed affidavit, she believed because she knew who these people were. She read my affidavit. What my team already know is that my lawsuit was groundbreaking in Australia. I am one of the very few humans who has ever been given sole legal parenting rights. It just isn't done, but it happened. Now, Elizabeth Louise Davies, I'm not going to refer to her as my mother anymore because that's not what a mom is. She is retired. So I'm going to explain this part legally to you. When you retire and you work for the government, you receive a pension. And yes, some of it you've paid into, but in her role, that's taxpayer money. Yep, she also gets her teacher's pension. Now, this role of hers, so she is the boss of the teachers and responsible for all of these children, in particular the special needs children, special needs child asleep in her bedroom over there. So she has put herself forward as an expert in grievances and with children, education. This is how she has put herself forth in a legal affidavit. Now, I will remind you, I didn't want any affidavits. I argued that no one was there and there is no reason that I should have to bring anyone else into this. But no, that's not how the system works. You see, I don't have any credibility. She does, because her role as retired director for schools for the government makes what she says more true, even though the evidence has now shown that she lied about the events that happened when I wasn't there. See, she knows she can't lie about what happened when I was there because I don't lie. Now, this is the fun part. I'm going to digress for a second. If you've wondered how I wrote my code, how did I infiltrate the FBI? Well, I turned myself into the code. First, I got their attention by changing my pattern. I'm autistic. My pattern is extremely fluid and consistent. So when someone who has been labeled as high risk because, hey, she's a danger to children, she tried to kidnap, she's a hag convention hag. She tried to kidnap her daughter. She also is part of a criminal drug ring. Didn't do any of those things, but I'm on all those lists. So I made a lot of noise and I made a lot of lights and I started dancing around my yard and I started doing all sorts of things on social media. But the code that took me 8 years to complete is written in my lies. See, once I identified myself as autistic, they immediately knew that I don't lie, which means that that's where you have to look. The answers were in my lies. And they had all the footage because they've been watching me all of this time. I have not had a shit privately since 2008, I guess. I can't go anywhere. They are surveilling me. So I did all this, and just as I suspected, there are far more good people just stuck in the system than there are bad people. We are taking care of the bad people. It's about time somebody does, huh? And no, I'm not a vigilante. That's not what this is at all. I have nothing to do with it hands-on. All I've done is empowered people, and I'm going to continue to do so because this is how we actually are going to survive. So legally, my mother has continued to threaten and intimidate me since I came out of hiding. Now I understand why. She knowingly and intentionally had me accused of a Hague Convention crime. And with her knowledge of child welfare in her role as not only director of schools, but superintendent of the largest school board in Canada, York Board. That was her job. Who vets these people? You hired someone to be in charge of 300,000 kids who abandoned her own kids and is a pathological liar. Like, look at moves. Every time anything goes wrong, just moves. Anyway, so this isn't a family legal issue. This is a mother and a daughter taking on the Canadian government via Elizabeth Davies. We are addressing the current crimes. She has knowingly and intentionally triggered me. I made it very clear in an email that she is not to come near us again, that I know what she did. She still won't admit it. She will never tell the truth. She will never tell the truth. They could show her herself on the TV doing it, and she'll still say it wasn't her. It's you. You did it. I knew it was her, but I was more forgiving when I thought it was a mistake. It's knowing. She knew that it was a death sentence for me. But here are the possible motives. Attention. And that's going to make you absolutely sick. But the reason I say that is, if you've ever heard of Munchausen's, where someone will make their child sick in order to get attention themselves. Well, you wouldn't believe how much attention my mom has gotten because of this, the horrible stress she's had because of us living in hiding, or God knows what she's actually told people. You see, it's the part where she has made herself the hero of the story. She's the one who has lent me the money. She cost me all those years where I was running for my life. She cost her granddaughter all those years running for her life. She made a choice and she did that. Did she do it for attention? She really did enjoy bringing us back and dressing us up and putting us on display when we got back to Canada, like it was some kind of weird parade, like two people with PTSD and anxiety and shell shock beyond anything any of you could ever imagine. And just, but don't tell anyone because, and this is what she would say, people around here don't understand things like that. People around here don't understand things like that. And I started to realize, wait a minute, you tell a lot of lies about everything else. A lot of lies. So I guess whatever you're telling about me, well, that's not true either. So the person who caused us to be on the run for our lives pretended to be the hero who brought us back. And now continues to show up, even though I've made it clear she is to wait to hear from my legal team. But that may take time because I can't legally sign an affidavit until I have dealt with all of the mental stuff, which is what I've been doing. And I've got the most extraordinary team on the planet working me through it. So I made it clear that she is not to come near us, that she is to wait to hear from the lawyers. Now, here's the thing. There were other issues. I mean, a couple weeks after we got back here, Ruby'd never been here. I've never been here. We're in Alberta. I've never been to Alberta before. So we're somewhere strange and new and shell-shocked and freaked out, still not safe. She decides, I've got a broken hand because I've fallen. She decides to take Ruby golfing with my stepdad. And fine, great, wonderful. And while they are golfing, she makes the decision to allow my 8-year-old, who is autistic and suffers from PTSD and probably still had jet lag, for crying out loud. She allowed my 8-year-old to drive and crash the golf cart. Wasn't going to tell me and wanted my daughter to lie to me about it. The only reason I was ever told was because of the debt to the golf course. They wanted my daughter to lie to me. Like, I love Fred. Fred was extraordinary, but he was the victim of an abusive wife who didn't let him see his own children for 16 years. Even with her daughter and granddaughter in hiding in this horrific situation, away from our family, away from our loved ones in Australia, she still didn't have the heart to let him be with his own kids. Oh, but to the outside world is always there to hug the babies and send the thank you letters and get the credit for the work she didn't do. She is always there for that. And you all know people like that. And most of them are in powers of position, just like hers. They're not your colleagues. They're not your peers. They're people who abuse power. She had clout and she abused it, and she did it in the stupidest way a human being can do, because she's probably going to spend the rest of her life in jail now, she can enjoy her freedom before it goes to court. But See, this is the thing. We're going to take the government to court, and the system, well, it's going to work the way it works still, because we're going to have to learn from this case to set precedent, unless we just agree that, I don't know, how do we fix it? How do we fix it? Because they're just going to throw her under the bus. The law of agency is fascinating, and I really invite you, if you are currently a lawyer, a legal aid, a legal secretary, a student, someone who is interested in the law. I fell into it because I had to stay alive. And we're about to sue the wealthiest governments in the world. We're suing the Queen, separate from the government as well. I'm not going after the FBI because I'm consulting with them. No, I am not working for them. I would never accept a paycheck. I will consult for free. So what I've done is I have made everything available to everyone so that it's an even playing field, and I will help everyone with everything because I know how smart I am and I know how effective I am. And what this is proving to do is I have been rallying the most amazing people, and we are finding the answers. And finding answers means fixing things, and that's all I want. So here's the thing. You're not watching an ugly soap opera between a mother and a daughter. It's not the case at all. In fact, I disown it. Obviously, I will organize it, but this isn't personal. I've provided all of the evidence, all of the facts. My affidavit from then is there, and everything I've done. You see, I haven't posted on YouTube in a while because it is evidence, and it is a certain type of evidence, and it is being analyzed very thoroughly. And I needed to allow myself a little bit of time to work through emotions, because I'm smart enough to know that you don't just react to big things like this. Yep, I found out a few weeks ago that my mom tried to have me killed, and that she did so in her role as one of the heads of Canadian government. But she's not my mom anymore, so it's going to be dealt with outside of the personal stuff. The crimes are being recorded in current time. Every time she shows up here, the last time was Friday, showed up right in my backyard, walking straight to my bedroom, bringing bread. You know, here's the thing. There are some things that are so beyond sick and wrong that don't you ever come near me again. You knowingly sentenced me to my death, and it could have got her killed too. Oh, here's the fun part too. So she believes that in my will, I have left my daughter to her. She believes that because she insisted upon it so vehemently that she had my stepdad drive me to go and have the will done, which I did in Queensland. And it remains there. I have a copy here. But I did not leave Ruby to my mom. And the reason for her to want Ruby, even though she's willing to, let her drive and crash a golf cart and, arrange play dates during COVID when Ruby's high risk and her husband is dying of lung cancer in her own house. These kinds of decisions. Well, there's no question she's stupid and she's incompetent. The malice, that's for other people to figure out. just so beyond real, isn't it? Like, I actually am that person in the story whose mother is the Wicked Witch. And in real life, you're seeing what jealousy and selfishness and just hate can lead to. So the reason to want Ruby is I'm worth a lot of money when I'm dead. At least 1.2 million. That's just my life insurance. I mean, you didn't think that I would have been married to one of the multinational insurance executives and not get my own life insurance policy, did you? I got a good one. And then there's, of course, the Bermuda money that everybody always wonders about. I don't know if it's there or not. What do I know about all of that? So is that why you'd be willing to have your own daughter killed? But see, there's the double there. You get to be the grieving mother. You are the saint who tried to save them. And, well, so you get a nice home upgrade from the insurance money. So is it that? Or is she just one of the sheep? Is she really just that stupid? No. They're stupid, but I looked her in the eyes. And this was her response. I'm going to tell you what happened on Friday when she came with the bread. She just showed up, and I said, either you can't be here or you have no right to be here. To which she replied, I still own half this house. Everything comes back to that instilling fear in me about her owning half this house. Now, here's the thing. She still receives a pension from the government that I'm suing. And I think it's only fair while we're working through this that, no, actually, maybe it's time that I put my GoFundMe up and I just pay her out so that I can hand over all the evidence and let the rest of the team fight this battle. Maybe I finally get to walk away from the Wicked Witch and focus on all the fun things I'm doing with this horrific story. You see, everything that you're going to learn about law of agency, about criminal law. I mean, this is criminal law, but it won't be pursued that way because the people who pursue those lawsuits are owned by the criminals in this case. So how do we pursue it? Well, we gather together and we brainstorm because it's all being watched. If you're on my Facebook page, you've noticed I've got some really funny looking friends, the most powerful individuals, the wealthiest individuals, the most amazing of every single human being you could ever dream of on this planet is on there. And they're watching everything. And they are also looking at who they want to recruit because they know that everything I'm doing right now is building our future. Everything that I am doing is the best next step. So here's the best next step. I'm going to when I finish this, I'm going to put I think I called it Go Fund Yourself, and I'm going to update what it says. And you know what it is? We need to pay off this house, and I need to be financially separate from the woman who tried to have me murdered. That's what has to happen today because the last step, I talked about how I haven't been on YouTube for a while. In order to feel comfortable about finally addressing this and making decisions about it, I had to know that I was no longer triggered by her. And when she came on Friday, that was the first time in, a year that her mere presence didn't make me physically sick. When she is near me, I feel sick because How else would you feel when you know that someone made a decision to, at best, destroy your life and your future? Any chance of, I'm one of the best educated human beings on this planet. I have expertise and knowledge in so many fields, but I was put in a position where I couldn't actually profit from my own skills. I could only have it stolen from me. That's the rest of the lawsuits, and they will come too. But you know what's better than that is the creative side, the part where we're learning, the part where we're waking up the builders and we're waking up the teachers. Because here's the thing, she is not a teacher. Her resume says that she is, but I know teachers, and that's not a teacher. Teachers love kids. Teachers want kids to learn. Teachers want to learn and do learn. And they are the people who just are energized when ideas are shared and new ideas come up, and those are the people. So they're going to be here too, because they're going to help us fix what's wrong here. You know, a whole system made this happen. In a few cases, like my mother, that's an individual who made choices, who made a choice as recently as Friday to try to intimidate and trigger, and this is a crime. Her showing up after being told clearly what she has done, that she is not allowed near, that is a crime, and that is all evidence. See, you've heard me say, just under the current system, all you can do is let people do it, because we are all under surveillance. And now here's the part where I tell you something about my team. If you feel you are in danger, you need to say something, because we are in the internet. We are everywhere, and we are trying to help people as much as possible. But if you are a liar, the algorithm is going to screw you, and it's going to screw you hard, because that's how surveillance works. We can help you because you come up on our radar as being at risk, but the liars don't come up on the radar. You see? Now, I don't personally have any of this. I'm not watching anybody. I'm the victim. I'm the victim who infiltrated the FBI. And no, actually, I infiltrated my own illegal surveillance in order to save my daughter's life. So now we're in there and we're trying to help. You're going to watch me do kooky stuff, and it's because I'm different, and I have my way of doing things. Like, I'm about to work with my team. This is the legal stuff. So you now know that the first lawsuit that has to happen is, well, Carmen Sarla versus the government of Canada regarding Elizabeth Louise Davies. And I mean, the very first charge is child endangerment. I don't know, attempted murder. I guess that's where I need the legal experts. See, I don't want to be involved in this one. You're going to have everything. You're going to have all the stuff from the first lawsuit. You're going to have all the surveillance from then till now. You're going to have everything there. But here's how my system works. If you want something, you just start doing it. And when you start doing it, then the team find you, you see. We are out, we're there, we're doing all of it. And some of you are finding us and you're like, oh, wow, there's somebody in my phone, holy cow. And there we are. And you have a choice. You have a choice at any given moment. We're not the ones who put you under surveillance, okay? We're not the ones who we're not the ones watching you. We're the ones watching pattern changes. So if you start acting kooky, we're going to see you. Do you understand? So you have to actually be deliberate in your actions. If you want to be involved in this lawsuit, because if you've got a legal mind, you've figured out by now that you are going to be obsolete unless you're a part of changing this with us. This is your chance to actually write the laws. And I'm spelling that W-R-I-T-E and R-I-G-H-T, because the law is not written to protect us. My project has already proven that without a question. The law is just another form of commerce that involves lawyers. I mean, it's another job, but unfortunately, their job involves good people like me having our lives destroyed. I mean, two controlling narcissists took the law and made innocent victims further victims. They used it as a tool, as a weapon, and that's got to stop. These lawsuits are the biggest in history, and you're not going to get paid a percentage. You're going to work for free until there's money. And then we're going to work through the issue of what should legal minds be paid, because they sure as hell are not entitled to a percentage of anyone's rightful winnings. They're not winnings. I'm sorry. But why should a lawyer get 30% of what I had to fight for, defending my life, defending my freedom, which I was never given. I was never given my freedom. Won my lawsuit, groundbreaking win. But all it did was keep me out of an actual jail. So, legal team, start working on it. Start working on everything you see as the most relevant issues in terms of law of agency. I mean, this is big stuff, and there's such a conversation. And I know that for me, when I was studying law, before I switched over into accounting, the whole concept of case law, I think, is archaic, stupid, and it proves the point that the law is not written to protect us. I mean, why should historical data determine our futures? No. The world has changed so much, so much. Okay, so that is what's happening. So to those of you who thought that I was just the spoiled, rotten brat who hates her mommy, I hope that you understand that it's a little bit bigger than that. And yep, I seem pretty badass right now because I was not going to get up here and talk to you about it until I felt badass. I'm not going to cry about a woman who tried to have me killed. She doesn't deserve those tears. Now, this is going to take time. And I do need to figure out the finances. So I am going to sort that out. For now, we've got work to do. I am autistic. I do things weird, but it's always fun. Let's see where we go. All right. So today is a mix of whatever gets thrown at me, to be honest. So I talk through things, I rehearse. I'm not building today. I would have loved to be, but I'm waiting for my wire. So I need wire to complete the, hang on, my noise canceling here. Flip that one off there. So I need wire to create the articulated joints and the wings on my wee shed, because my shed, well, not wings, my shed has one waving wing even with a shoulder and elbow, because I'm the creaky lady, and I already told you I'm making a movie and all sorts of things, because I can build and I can create and I can do amazing things, and that's what I want to focus on. So I would like to get back to editing my creative stuff this week, now that I've made that decision about the legal. And I look forward to seeing who pops up, because I'm watching. I think you figured out by now that pretty soon I'm going to be like the biggest employer ever, possibly indirectly, but I'm the one to go to if you want your dream job. So just show up, just do it. Just do it. If you show up and do it, the job is yours. That's how it works in my world. Oh, and you're about to watch a business meeting, by the way. Okay, I am back, guys. I rambled for how long? I rambled for a while. Oh, an hour. Might be a long one today. Who knows how long I'll stay there? Doesn't matter. All right. Who's on board? So moving my body helps my brain to work through things. So work meetings, when you work with me, look like this. Reply, good getting by, I'm getting by. You know, it's interesting. In all of our has anyone noticed how the law is written in a way that the only time it works across borders is for big companies? The individual gets screwed. When I was in Australia and in my lawsuit then, and still recovering from multiple operations, they found loopholes by sending me text messages from a phone that was registered to the other side of the border. Because if you're in a different state, well, it's not a crime. So all you have to do is own phones from different areas. And you can torture people all you want. Yeah. All right, here we go, Otis. Today is weight training and thinking. I hurt my hip yesterday, but I think it actually unlocked something. The ships rolling, and I'm watching the way again. Watching time run away. See, I have to start out slow. I haven't So I microdose with cannabis to manage my arthritis, and I haven't had any today. Oh, yes, I did earlier, but I am due. Getting better. Watching the time rolling away. I wear ballet slippers when I want to work. I'm working that hip and my booty, my thighs. But I'm going to tell you guys a secret. Dirty floors are best on training days if you wear ballet slippers, because especially if you've got lots of dog fur. So don't clean your houses. I give the best advice. Seriously though, I hate trying to train on a non-slippery floor. You know, for me, it's upon their face. I made it through this far, forgiving place. So this is a message. To climb, I must not the steps down, to my own time. Care, halfway there. You see, I'm one of those rare, natural-born leaders, except that I don't want to lead. I just want to do. So I've insisted that I will lead by example, but I mess with them sometimes by being, oh my gosh, human. Like the other day when I got really drunk and threw up all over the bathroom floor. Well, but you know what? Humans do that. Now, did I intend to get that drunk or that sick? No. The one slice of pizza I had all day, no good. Do I do that often? No, definitely not. That's the first time I've been like drunk in a while. I mean, silly, but not drunk. But if you state that you're leading by example, it has to be accepted that no one is perfect all the time. And you know what? The most fascinating and the most brilliant people on this planet are the ones who've got the guts to live their lives. I had a frickin' blast getting drunk in the yard with my speaker and my team. The puke was gross, cleaning it up was grosser, but the hangover, shocking. I took 3 days off because of that drunken night, because it shut my body down. And you know what? I can't remember the last time I took 3 days off. So maybe it was a gift to myself. I physically stopped myself and just said, no more. You've been dealing with so much. So you see now, so much is really so much. But it ain't gonna stop me. Wait till you see what I've been creating. You see, I've been so preoccupied with all this legal stuff and the building. The building's been cool. And the landscaping and I have done filming actually. Actually, I've been doing everything. I never stop. But that's why the multitasking. I like that one. All right. Now this song, work for it. This is one of our songs where we compete. And I dance around the whole yard. And turn up. You're gonna feel like that. You're gonna feel. Yeah, look for it. You gotta work for it. You gotta work, you gotta work. You gotta work for it. You gotta work, gotta work. You gotta work for it. Na na na. You gotta work for it. You gotta work, gotta work. You gotta work for it. This is one of the hardest things. Instead of stopping, you reposition your body to relieve some of the pain. It's warrior training. Sorry, guys. That's one. Can work out. If you're wondering why fitness is part of the meeting, well, as you know, this is going to be a whole lot of creative stuff. And when you see the acrobatics that I do on a scooter and the crazy things I do in my yard, you'll understand why my strength and my fitness matter. I'm 46 and missing a lot of original parts. If I can do this, anybody can. Arthritis. I thought I was going to need a new hip. Did I mention on my 46th birthday, my mother went out of her way to tell me that she saved my stepdad's wheelchair elevator because I'll need it soon. Happy birthday. You know what? I ain't never gonna need it because I'm taking care of business. Hey, buddy. See, I'm fun to get fit with. You just put the music on and you go. But You'd be amazed how much intelligent thought happens the more you push your body. Endorphins, wow, it's the secret to my genius. This is just to bounce my balance and stability, because I've had one bad hip for so long and I do some crazy things in the yard. I need to be very steady. Taking care of business. It's all right. Working overtime. I've got a live band right now. Oh, best team ever. Who wouldn't work out to a live band on a Sunday? It's just dancing after all. See, I'll all of a sudden have a breakthrough in the springtime. The last time I had a breakthrough, I took down the Nazis. But that's a different story. Just call me Phoenix. Of Paris, the summer just off. I love Paris every moment. Every moment of the year. See, no matter how bad I sound, being able to sing along when I'm winded is extremely crucial to training. I like to train with my girl, Miley Cyrus. She's more of a treadmill person, but I'm too weird for that these days. And my hips don't like to run much these days. Drizzles. This is boring. I've run enough marathons for this life. I used to have to train with my baby strapped to my body. How else do you keep yourself safe? I wonder if anybody ever wondered why I did that. Things people must have thought. Said it before. If you think you know, you don't. We surely should not judge. Everyone has their own story and their own reasons for the choices they make. Okay. Don't know how to love you, what to do, how to move him. I've been changed. Yes, really changed. Those past few days, when I've seen myself, I seem like someone else. Don't know how to take this. I've just seen need to go have a puff. But instead of leaving, I'm going to leave you with the lyrics. You sing along, okay? I'll be right back. I should be in this position. Who's always been so calm, so cool. It scares me so. I want him so. I love him so. Yes, this whole weird show is like part Jesus Christ Superstar. Every single crazy theory that could be created about who and what I am, we came up with all of them, and I'm doing them all. Do I think about you day and night? So I microdose cannabis. I take 3 puffs. It manages my arthritis, and it also manages my anxiety. It doesn't make me like stoned. I'm extremely productive. Also helps me to focus. So there you go. Because yeah, I used Paxil when I needed something to keep me from absolutely having a breakdown at the end of years and years of terror. But it does, it makes you numb. All those medicines from the pharmacy for anxiety, they're just numbing you. That's all they're doing. So if that's what you need, that's great. But don't think that that is you. It's not you. You're not that. Trust me. Don't be afraid to be you. Get off the Paxil and just be you. Own it. If it's weird, get weirder. Find other weirdos. Then you're not weird. You're just one of the gang. Right, guys? Life, me and you and me. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be the only for me is you and you for me. So happy together. Me and my phone. I'm the only person who forgot about technology, and now I'm like trapped with it forever. Oh. Okay. All right. I'm going up. Shoulders. This looks funny. Great song. Wash away my troubles, wash away my pain. Oh. Mwah. Come on. I just realized that. See, I'm so used to being spied on that I've forgotten that I'm like streaming live also. I'm going to continue my workout, but I also have to go outside and do some things. So maybe I'll invite you to our next meeting, which will probably be tomorrow. We'll see.